You know that feeling when you're dreaming and it feels so real you can actually fly? Or maybe you've woken up with a sudden jolt, like you were falling from a great height. Well, today, we're going to dive into a topic that tries to make sense of all that and a whole lot more. We're talking about astral projection, and we'll be pulling the key ideas straight from Abhishek Agarwal's book, Astral Projection: Amazing Journeys Outside Your Body.
So the book kicks things off with this really powerful image. Just imagine for a second, you're floating above your own bed, and you look down, and there you are, sleeping peacefully. It's a pretty wild thought, right? But that idea, that complete and total freedom from your physical body, that's the very heart of what we're digging into today.
All right, so let's get right into it. First things first, we need to be on the same page. What exactly is astral projection? What are we even talking about here?
So at its core, it's what's known as an out-of-body experience, or OBE for short. And the idea is pretty straightforward. It's that your consciousness, your mind, your awareness, the very essence of you, can actually separate from your physical body. And when it does, you can explore the world from a completely different perspective.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting. According to the book, this isn't some rare mystical thing that only a few people can do. The claim is that we all do this, every single night when we dream. The only difference, we're not aware of it. So the goal isn't really to learn a brand new skill. It's about becoming conscious of something that's already happening.
And this idea is definitely not new. We're talking millennia old. You can go all the way back to the ancient Egyptians and their concept of the Ka body, or ancient Greek philosophers like Plato talking about a double body. Cultures all through history have been fascinated with this idea that our consciousness can exist outside our physical form. It's just that now, in the 21st century, it's really exploded in popularity.
Which, of course, brings us to the big question, right? Okay, fine. Let's say it's possible, but why? Why would anyone want to do this? What's the point?
Well, according to the source, the potential benefits are pretty extraordinary. We're talking about everything from the simple, pure joy of flying to some really profound personal and spiritual growth. Things like boosting psychic abilities or completely getting over the fear of death. Even things like meeting loved ones who've passed on or exploring distant galaxies. It's a huge list.
So if any of that has you intrigued, the next logical question is, how? How does one actually do this? Let's get into the practical side of things and look at the roadmap the book lays out.
And interestingly, the very first step isn't some special technique. It's all about your mindset, specifically overcoming fear. All those big anxieties that pop up. What if I get hurt? What if I can't get back? Could something possess my body? The book addresses these head-on, with the core message being that it's safe and you are always, always in control.
So this whole process is broken down into 4 main stages. Once you've dealt with the fear, step 2 is about getting your body completely relaxed. The goal is this weird state of mind awake, body asleep. After that, you've got to quiet your mind. That little voice in your head that never stops talking, that chattering monkey. And only after all that do you finally apply a specific technique to actually make it happen.
And yeah, it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. The book actually details over 15 different techniques, so it seems pretty clear that what works for one person might not work for another.
Just to give you a quick taste of how different these can be, let's look at 2. One method is all about lucid dreaming. So you become aware that you're in a dream, and then from inside that dream, you consciously will yourself to separate. Then you've got something totally different, like the rope technique. For that one, you just imagine there's a rope hanging above you, and you mentally pull yourself up, hand over hand, to kind of force your consciousness out.
Okay, now for the part I'm sure you've been waiting for. Let's say you actually do it. You succeed. What's it like? What happens when you get there? What do you actually experience?
Well, the book draws a really clear line between the weird sensations that happen right before you leave your body and the abilities you have once you're out. So beforehand, you might feel these intense vibrations, almost like a mild electric shock, or hear loud buzzing sounds, maybe even experience sleep paralysis. These are all described as signs you're getting close. But once you're actually out, that all gives way to these incredible new abilities, like flying, passing right through walls, and get this, 360-degree vision.
And this astral plane they talk about, it isn't described as just one single place. Think of it more like a bunch of different realms or dimensions all layered on top of each other. They're separated by, for lack of a better word, their vibration. And they range from what's called the lower astral, which are apparently darker, more primal places, up through the middle astral, and all the way to the higher astral, which some people might call heaven.
So who else is out there?
Well, the book describes a pretty wild cast of characters you might meet. You could bump into other people who are just dreaming and wandering around without realizing it. You might meet other conscious travelers like yourself. Or you could meet people who've passed on from the physical world. And it even goes further, describing non-human beings and even what are called thought forms, entities created just by strong desire.
And here's another really mind-bending detail: how you communicate. Apparently, there's no talking, no words. It's all done through telepathy, direct thought transference. So you just think at each other. There are no language barriers, and the meaning is just understood instantly.
Okay, so we've gone through the what, the why, and the how. But what's the ultimate takeaway? What's the big underlying message that this book is trying to get across?
Well, it really all boils down to one single profound idea. Human beings are more than just their physical bodies. The whole point of the experience is to prove to yourself, personally, that your body is just a vehicle, a temporary house, as the quote says, for a consciousness that is way, way bigger. And because of that, the ultimate promise here is a personal answer to one of the biggest questions we all have. The book's argument is that if you can consciously experience your awareness completely separate from your physical body, then you have your own personal, undeniable proof that your consciousness doesn't end when your body does. And that really just leaves us with one final, huge question to think about. If our consciousness really isn't limited by our bodies, if we can travel just by thinking and communicate without words, then what are the real limits? What are the boundaries of what we can explore and what we can possibly understand?